and welcome to our virtual graduation program for our students of 2020. At this time, let us stand for the national anthem brought to us by Ngozi Permol of 5L. From the graduating class, Jarek Williams will now bring to us a prayer.
A prayer for our graduates. God, our Father, it is with deep gratitude and much humility that we invite your presence at our graduation ceremony. Bless the class of 2020 and open our hearts to receive your love and mercy. In spite of a tumultuous year, through your grace, we have endured. Help us to focus on the good memories and friendships created during our tenure, that we may look upon our journey without regrets and full of excitement moving forward. Thank you for this institution where many lessons have been learned, and for the teachers who have remained dedicated and committed in their endeavors. Thank you for our peers with whom we've shared experiences and support during the times of greatest uncertainty. Thank you for our parents who provided and sacrificed to see us through. Father, as we celebrate this milestone, let us be mindful of our journey and always be an inspiration to others. Like the past of our future as you have our past. May our lives always reflect the values of our school and be in line with your will for us. To you be all glory and honor, thanksgiving and praise. Amen.
Yet still I rise, never to give up, never to give in against all odds. Yet still I rise, high above the clouds. At times I feel low, yet still I rise. Mr. James Sami, our featured speaker and past principal, the Ministry of Education representative, Ms. Karen Kunon, School Supervisor 3, Dr. Asha Ramraj Sukhdeo, our school's principal, Ms. Rahana Mustafa, our acting vice principal, the president of the PTSA, Mr. Enrique Chase, president of the alumni, Mr. Justin Rampasad, past principals, past teachers, specially invited guests, members of staff, parents, and by no means least, our graduates of the class 2020, good afternoon. Yet still I rise, a theme that aptly describes your experience and journey during the past year. You know, as a Form 5 and Form 6 student, life is already challenging. And then the world shut down in March 2020. And along with what life was already throwing at you, now you had to deal with COVID-19. How did you do it? The answer is clear. You went through that period successfully because here you are today, thriving, stronger, and battling all of life's challenges. You were able to put aside anything that could have kept you down and overcome the adversities that seek to overpower you. You did your CXC and CAPE exams, and you are either back in Form 6 to complete your secondary school education, or you would have gone on to higher tertiary educational institutions, or some of you might even be in the world of work. I applaud you, class of 2020. You showed the world that no matter what comes your way, you still rose above it all. You know, a poem comes to mind called Good Timber by Douglas Mallock. You know, sometimes when you see a tree, it's something that attracts our attention, especially if it's a very large and tall tree. A tall tree always looks very stately and so grand. And you know, when you think about a tree that probably never has to fight for sky, for sun, for light, most likely that tree might shrivel and die and not grow very big. So it is with us as human beings. If we never had to toil and we never had to fight for certain things, we may not be the people we are now. Part of the poem said, "Good timber does not grow with ease. The stronger the wind, the stronger the trees. The further the sky, the greater its length. The more the storm, the more the strength. By sun and cold, by rain and snow, in trees and men, good timbers grow." Students, keep fighting. The strength that you have gained over this period of time will be strength that will carry you through successfully in life. Know that God is by your side and that everything is always possible with Him. Please continue to strive and be strong. Keep rising. Dr. Asha Ramraj Sukhdeo, our school principal, will now address us. In June 2019, Dr. Ramraj Sukhdeo graced our hallowed halls of St. George's College. She came to us with a wealth of knowledge and experience in the education field, holding a PhD in philosophy of education. She has held several positions at a district and national level as a chief examiner and an education specialist at the Ministry of Education. I would like to welcome Dr. Ramraj Sukhdeo as she brings to us the principal's remarks.
Featured speaker and past principal, Mr. James Sammy, School Supervisor 3, Ms. Karen Kunan, President of the Alumni, Mr. Justin Rampasad, President of the PTSA, Mr. Abraham Chase, Chairman of the local school board, Dr. Marva Rivero, invited guests, members of staff, parents, and most importantly, our St. George's College graduates for the class of 2020. Good evening and a most cordial welcome to our graduation ceremony. It is with great pleasure that we meet today to celebrate the lives of our St. George's College graduates. I know you've been patiently waiting for this day, but because of the culture of St. George's College, we would have much preferred a physical ceremony. But unfortunately, COVID came and that was not possible. And we are here today virtually after exploring all possibilities. Today we are here to reminisce about our time that we spent at St. George's. We started here, some of us 5 years ago, some 2 years ago, and we are now at this juncture where we are moving on as young gentlemen and young ladies. It was a journey filled with many memories, happy ones at that. Friends, teachers, sports, dress down, movie night, our exchange program, memories, you name it, we had it. For me personally, it was a delightful experience to be able to take you all to the finish line with your exams. Amidst all our uncertainty, we must express our gratitude to God that we made it through. And I must emphasize and I must commend you all, like true Georgians. You all didn't just make it to the finish line, you all performed exceptionally well. When I did the analysis for the results from the past year, what it is I noticed is that generally in most areas, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2, our performance had exceeded what was the year before. So I must commend you all. Hats off to you, my dear graduates. You made us proud. Like true Georgians, you became tougher and you stepped up and you continue to excel and overcome the challenges you face. So today we want to remind you as you move forward in your life. 1. Let God first. Let God be your guiding light as you move forward. 2. I say to you, focus on your goals. Set goals. And make sure you set those goals so you will be focused and work hard and fearlessly towards achieving them. Promote positive social change. The greatest joy in life comes from giving. It is not what others can do for you, but is what you could do for others. Let us not compete with others. Let us compete with ourselves so that every new day presents a new opportunity for us to become a better version of ourselves. Once again, congratulations, blessings, and best wishes to all our graduates. Go out there and make this world a better place. Thank you.
I would now like to introduce you to our featured speaker. He actually joined St. George's College as a Form 1 student in 1969 and left after sixth form when he graduated in 1976. He then graduated from the University of the West Indies in 1979 with a BSc. He worked at the Institute of Marine Affairs from 1979 to 1980 and then started teaching in September 1980 at the Shagona Senior Comprehensive School. He then became a pastoral head or dean in 1983 and later on became the vice principal at Kapichaima Senior Comprehensive School in 2001. He was then promoted to principal at St. George's College in 2005, and there he stayed with us until he retired in 2018. He also holds a diploma in education and a master's in educational leadership. This person is none other than our past principal, Mr. James Sammy. We are so delighted to have him as our guest speaker today. Students, I am sure that you're in for a treat. Mr. Sammy, you have our full attention, and I welcome you to deliver the feature address to our graduating class.
Principal Sukhdev, members of staff, graduates, parents, ladies and gentlemen. Yet still I rise. what an appropriate theme for this year's graduation, considering what you, the graduates, have gone through in the past year. Yet still I rise. Rise? Rise tells us that we were down. The idea that we have to rise tells us that we are rising from a low point. Yet still suggests not once, not twice, but repeatedly. I rise over and over and over again. When I heard this theme, I felt as though it was written for me, for my life. And with that in mind, I would like to share with you 3 times in my life, 3 completely different periods in my life when I had to rise, and how it affected my entire life. I'll start being a teenager right here at St. George's College. I came into this school as one of those 500 students in Trinidad and Tobago that were awarded what we called an exhibition. Oh, we got free books. It was like a scholarship. And with that in mind, great things were expected of me. I was supposed to be one of the best. But then, around Form 4, changes began to take place. First of all, I enrolled in a football camp with one Alvin Cornell, and he saw my potential, and soon in Form 4, I was playing football in Port of Spain. Do you know what that meant? I would finish my games maybe 6 in the evening in Port of Spain and travel home. Well, you know a teenager because you are. Who's going to walk down Frederick Street? I love George Street. That was where all of the action took place in those years. Also, I became popular on the verge of national football selection. I couldn't handle popularity well either, and I changed. Soon, I became involved. I was exposed to drugs, illegal drugs. I was exposed to the gang life in Port of Spain. And I wanted to be popular. I still remember my mother crying more than once because I was soon in trouble with the law. My parents never gave up. My teachers never gave up. This took place over the 2 years I was in Form 6. And when I wrote my advanced level, which you now call CAPE, I was a colossal disappointment. Not because I didn't have the potential, but because I fell. For the first time in my life, my future was in the balance because I didn't have the grades to get into university, which I always took for granted. And then a miracle took place. UWI said they would accept me, but I had to do pre-university maths, N1 maths we call it. The shock of disappointment, the failure, and most of all, the picture of my mother crying and knowing that I had caused her tears weighed heavily on me. In my first year at university, I came first. After almost not getting in, I came first. Yet still I rise. When I became principal, I'm sure that many students wondered, like this little fella crazy. He doesn't call your parents. He always gives you another chance. He always thinks about his children. That fall showed me that people cared about me And because people cared about me, I was able to rise. When I became a teacher and when I became principal, I would look at some of the boys in particular, and I'm sure some of the boys, not of this class, but of years gone by, would remember my words. Been there, done that. You really feel you could phase me out? I've done it. I've felt it. I know everything you're feeling when you want to fight, when you want to behave badly. Been there, done that. So you see, that fall and rising again prepared me to be a true mentor and leader to teenagers and to students in school. Because if anybody understands falling, it's me. Now we're going to step forward. As I said, I did really well in university. I graduated with honors, and I knew what I wanted to be. I love the ocean, and I always wanted to be a marine biologist. For my final year in university, I got to go to Mona in Jamaica, where there is a marine station on the north coast, a place called Discovery Bay. I graduated with honors, and before I even set foot in Trinidad again, I was already employed by the Institute of Marine Affairs. They were doing the Point Lisas development baseline study. You see, the whole of Point Lisas, as you know it, that was mangrove swamp. And they were filling the swamp to create the industrial estate. But when you're destroying an ecosystem, you have to do something called a baseline study to record what existed before you destroyed it. Imagine my dreams were realized. I was a marine biologist and I had a job, and I was already accepted to do a master's in oceanography. And hear what? The girl who I took to St. George's graduation ball had said yes. So I was going to get married. By the way, she's sitting in the back. One day, I went out sampling, doing my work, in a boat, Cali Bay. I came back from the hot sun, and I reached the laboratory door. Lo and behold, I woke up in a doctor's office. What had happened? I became epileptic. I don't know how many of you know that I'm a severe epileptic. Falling down, biting up on my tongue, my lips, urinating on myself, messing my pants, embarrassment. I fell again. Do you know what that meant? The Institute of Marine Affairs very, very politely told me, we cannot employ you to work on the ocean if you are epileptic. My dream was falling apart. I was an accredited diver. I loved scuba diving, being 100 feet below the ocean. The Diving Association said, we cannot renew your accreditation. We do not accredit epileptics, because if you get an attack under the water, that's too risky. So I lost my job, and I lost my diving accreditation. The only things I wanted in life, I didn't lose my girl, eh? People told her, you sure you know what you're doing? Because here, it was not pretty sight. I remember one day in church, I was sitting next to her and I got an epileptic attack. Poor girl. The blood from my mouth stained her dress. But she didn't bother with people who were saying, you sure you know what you're doing? So we got married 41 years ago. Was it 42? Probably. Then, I have a degree, honors, and no job. I didn't want to, but I applied to teach because that was the obvious thing to do. Almost as soon as I applied, I got a job in Shabona Senior Comprehensive. And lo and behold, the principal there was an ex-Georgian. He saw my potential, and at a very young age, he made me what is called a pastoral head, which you now call a dean. Can you see what's happening? In a comprehensive school, I am the one guiding the teenagers. Boy come to school with a gun. I say, you think you could frighten me? Been there, done that. Next one, bringing weed to sell in school. Say, wait now, you could phase out Miss Sal, you could frighten me with that. Been there, done that. Yet still, I rise. I had to forget being a marine biologist. But then I realized I was created to be a teacher. I was created to help teenagers. God did that. And that fall, that second fall of epilepsy, it was just another way for me to rise. Have you Georgians never wondered about Mr. Sammy? Why is Mr. Sammy so biased towards people like Akif Isaac, Ismail Isaac? Why Mr. Sammy taking epileptics, heart patients, kidney transplants? Have you ever wondered? Been there, done that. When I became epileptic, I needed somebody to say yes. So I was the one to say yes to all of my children who were also facing challenges. Yet still, I rise. So the second part of that experience is empathy. You will be able to understand how others feel when you feel it yourself. And we go to the third part. Many years later, and I'm saying many years later. Now I'm an adult. And I have an adult son. And my adult son somehow managed to get some money to buy a little piece of land with no lights and no water, but he bought it. And we reached a point where I said, son, I'll help you. Let's see what we could do. Let's cast a little foundation now. Let's pop some blocks now. We can't build a house because we can't get a loan, but let's start now. Well, a friend of a friend recommended a contractor. We didn't realize the man was a con man. We paid him money, and then he was murdered. The lawyers told us we can recover nothing because he didn't have a company. It was a man who is now dead. You cannot levy against a man. We lost the money. I sat there. We fell again. We fell again. What to do? It's gone, and the lawyers say, no chance of getting it back. We saved again. Hear the mistake now. Where do you think we put the money we saved? Clico. Because Clico was paying big interest. I remember the day in school here when I heard that Clico had crashed. I was principal here. I went to Miss Sylvester. I said, Miss Sylvester, I don't know what to do. Money gone again, Clico crashed. She said, Mr. Sammy, trust in the Lord. You always say you're a God-fearing man, trust in the Lord. Twice we lost everything. Yet still I rise. Because you know what I'm going to tell you now? Last year, although my son is 39 years old now, see how many years passed? Last year, my son moved into his own little house. No big upstairs house, you know, a little flat house. But hear what? We didn't stay down. We rose. And by doing that, we understand God's grace Because what seemed impossible has come to pass. And I'm telling you these stories for you to know that you will at some point fall. Some of you have already fallen and learned to rise. And I want you to understand that who you become doesn't happen from the good times. Oh, we enjoy the good times. Good times are useful because we really enjoy the good times. But the good times are not what make you who you are. Rising from the fall, not the fall itself, rising from the fall is what makes you. Look at me today, past principal, but more than that, enjoying the love of so many young people. It would not have been possible without the experiences of rising again and again and again. As you go through life, enjoy the good times. But when you fall, accept the fall as an opportunity to rise again. And when you rise, not if you rise, but when you rise, you will be a different person. You will be a better person. So in ending, I know I've gone way over. In ending, have you, over the last year, I know it's been hard for you. Thank God I didn't have to do that. Finish school in that year. But have you ever sung during that time the second verse of your school song? You ever check the words? We are Georgian. In this time of life's great trials, fear and folly hold no place. We must fight, there's no denial. Dragons all we dare to face. Now the challenge stands before us. We shall raise the cry. Face the foe, Georgians forever, unto victory. Face the foe, Georgians forever, unto victory. Face the foe, Georgians forever, unto victory.
Miss Isis Makano of 4M will now bring to us a special song, The Climb.
Inside my head, you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost with no direction. My faith is shaking, but I gotta keep trying, gotta keep my head held high. There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's a climb. The struggles I'm facing, the chances I'm taking, sometimes might knock me down, but no, I'm not breaking. I may not know it, but these are the moments that I'm gonna remember most. Yeah, just gotta keep going, and I gotta be strong. uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's a climb. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Keep on moving, keep climbing, keep the faith, baby. It's all about to climb. Keep the faith, keep your faith. Oh, oh.
Mr. Justin Rampersad will now bring to us greetings from the alumni. He has been our alumni president since 2017. Mr. Justin Rampersad.
Good evening, my Georgian family. My name is Justin Rampersad, President of St. George's College Alumni Association. Special thanks to our principal, teachers, parents, and you, class of 2020, for having me in your first virtual graduation ceremony. I will let you know that this is also my first virtual ceremony. Amazing, from the actual hall to now in my office. It's an honor and a privilege to welcome our future leaders, class of 2020, to our association. We expect great things from you, and likewise you expect great things from us. We hope that the challenges we are facing, that we are able to help you and provide you with the opportunity to help you rise. Our association has been in existence a very long time, over 60 years, and I expect it will continue for many more. We have been doing a lot in the background, from laptops, donations, working with our principal's vision. Our success could not have happened if we did not build relationships with our past students. There are a lot of Georgians out there willing and wanting to help us, and relationships and networking were the key to our success. It's with this I make my only one request. Madam Principal and all teachers, even parents, and I stress on all teachers because when we former students come back, we come looking for you. I ask that we are furnished with a database of the children and parents who are leaving us today. There is no way we can grow without this information. COVID-19 has taught us this. No child would have been able to do any classes without an email address. Yes, phone and other electronic devices were needed, but I think you understand my point. If we are to overcome our challenges and continue to be innovative in the future, we need this information. That innovation can only come from our future leaders leaving us. My parting words to the new alumni, remember this. To have success, you must have failure, and that's the beautiful part of life. The comeback is always better than the setback. It's over 20 years since I left this great establishment, and there has been many ups and downs, many good and bad, but yet I rose. St. George's College has been strong to me through its hard work of its teachers and administrators. I use the example of the roots of a bamboo tree. It takes 3 to 5 years for the bamboo tree to grow, and within that stage is where the roots are growing to help it with its foundation. All of you are like that bamboo. Please do not give up. When the going gets tough, this is the time when you have to blossom. Let's make today and every day fantastic, because if it wasn't for COVID-19, today would have been Fantastic Friday. Thank you.
Mr. Enrique Chase, who has been our president of the PTSA for the past year, will now bring to us greetings.
A pleasant good afternoon to the School Supervisor 3, Ms. Karen Kunar, Principal Dr. Asha Ramraj Sukhdev, Acting Vice Principal Ms. Rehana Mustafa, President of the Alumni Mr. Justin Rampersad, Guest Speaker and Past Principal Mr. James Sami, teachers and ancillary staff, parents, students, well-wishers, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor and privilege for me to bring greetings to the graduating class of 2021 on behalf of the PTSA of St. George's College. Preparing to speak to you today has been an emotional experience for me, as it made me recall sitting in my own graduation ceremonies in both Form 5 and Form 6 and listening to speakers who were invited to speak and to us, and it is very surreal that I am now in such a position. I hope that I am able to bring some bit of encouragement and inspiration to you all during this time when we all need some encouragement and inspiration. I would first like to congratulate the graduating class of 2021 on reaching this milestone in their academic career. Just being able to function mentally and physically during this COVID-19 pandemic is a great accomplishment. You students are being called upon to write exams and to study and still get good grades and to complete your SBAs and IAs, and I really want to commend you. As the theme of the ceremony says, yet still you rise. I don't know how you're able to do it or how you are doing it. I don't want to do any exam on a good day, far less do one during a pandemic. To my fellow parents, I say job well done. We have safely brought them to this point. I would, however, like us to take caution, though that the rising is not over. It is an ongoing process. After exams and after graduation, you will have to move on to yet another phase in life where you would still have to rise, and so it will continue for the rest of your lives with all the challenges and obstacles being placed before you. Parents, let's continue to support and encourage them because they will definitely need it. I would like to thank all parents who have been not just supportive of their children, but supportive of the college as a whole, and who would have contributed their time, their talents and resources to the improvement of the college. We appreciate your willingness to cooperate with the teachers and the administration in making St. George's College a better place, and we encourage the students here today to not forget your alma mater. I invite you to join the alumni and let's continue to lift each other up, just as we have been doing for the time that you spent here. Students, as you leave us this year, I would like to leave you with a bit of parental advice and a bit of Georgian advice. Firstly, don't be fooled into thinking that you have made it because you have written and passed all your exams or because you went to university and obtained a degree. I can tell you firsthand that I have had more challenges and obstacles placed before me after I graduated from the university than when I was a university student. The obstacles are never ending, and rising above challenges is an ongoing process. But as a fellow Georgian, I beseech you to not be discouraged. Georgians have a fighting spirit. We are brave. We slay dragons. We slay all those dragons on our path to success. And while we might be accustomed to dragons being these huge, scary creatures that are out for blood, we can change our perspective of the dragon and see it as a creature that is not out to devour us, but as a creature that is teaching us to be stronger, better people. If we do that, we will see how easy it is to prove ourselves by conquering the dragon. Don't imagine your dragon to be scarier than it is or stronger than it is. Do not give it that power over you. Instead of facing your problems with an attitude of defeat, face them as though you have already won, like the problem is already making you a stronger, better person. Rise with confidence and laugh in the face of the things that try to hold you back. Instead of dwelling on all the things you have to do and how difficult they are, think of all the things you get to do instead. Instead of thinking that you still have to finish university, think of it as, I get to go university. Instead of thinking that you have so many exams to write, think of it as, I get to write all these exams because these exams are going to make you a better person. You get to be a more disciplined, more responsible, and more dedicated person because of these exams. Secondly, let us also remember that there should also be grace and dignity and confidence in our rising. The poem And Still I Rise by Maya Angelou reminds us that in life there will be people and situations that trod you through dirt and people who want to see you broken with bowed head and lowered eyes and fallen shoulders. They would want to see you defeated and they would want to rejoice and celebrate your defeat. Do not give them that satisfaction. They are anxiously awaiting those shoulders to fall and those heads to bow. Prove these people wrong. There may also be those who would want you to compromise your integrity in order to succeed. They would want you to be dishonest and corrupt. They might want you to lie and steal and may even try to convince you that this is the only way to succeed, that this is what everybody is doing. Do not lower your eyes or bow your head or let your shoulders fall. Rise with your heads lifted high and with your dignity intact. The late Sandra Levine, singing Sandra, sang a song called Die With My Dignity, in which she said she would rather die than allow men to use her body so that she could get a job. This is the kind of strength and grace that we are called upon to have when faced with challenges in life. Let us aim to do the right thing and not just the easy thing. Let us not take bribes and pass money under the table. Let us not take advantage of those whom we perceive to be weaker than we are. Let us not cut each other's throats figuratively and literally. Let us not step on each other to reach where we want to be. And to the young men listening to me this afternoon, as a man, I want to implore you to be upstanding men in our society. Respect our women. Take care of our women. Help them to feel safe. This is how we, as a society, and we, as a Georgian community, will rise confidently with grace and dignity. And like the poem says, we will hold our heads up high and laugh like we have gold mines in our backyards. So students, on behalf of the St. George's College Parent-Teacher Student Association, I would like to wish you all of God's blessings as you embark upon this new chapter of your lives. Continue to slay those dragons with grace and dignity. Thank you.
Now is a very exciting part of our program where we will be hearing from our valedictorians. And we have two valedictorians. Our first valedictorian is formerly from 5L, Miss Jewel Johnson. She's currently studying abroad and made time to be here with us today. So let's pay attention to Miss Jewel Johnson.
The chairperson, Mrs. Sudeen, to our beloved guest, Mr. Sami, representative from the Ministry SS3, Ms. Karen Conant, the principal, Dr. Asha Ramrat Sukhdeo, past principals and teachers, vice principal, Ms. Mustafa, president of the PTSA, Enrique Chase, president of alumni, Justin Rampasad, specially invited guests, members of staff and ancillary staff, parents, and of course, the graduates of 2020, good day. We did it. We made it through 2020. We encountered countless challenges in the past and continue to encounter more challenges, yet still we rise. Most will say 2020 was one of the worst years they've had, but I beg to differ. Though it brought many challenges, 2020 also brought out the strength in us we never knew we had. And I'm sure we now know the privilege we had, being in a physical classroom with amazing teachers at the front of a class and classmates beside us. Firstly, I want to thank God, for without Him I am nothing. He has given me the strength to push through challenges and continues to bless my life each and every day. I would like to extend thanks to all our teachers and to those who made it their duty to continue classes with us on Zoom in preparation for CSEC examinations. Hats off to you. This is a clear indication of the dedication St. George's College staff have towards their students. A very special thank you to the staff who gave me this special opportunity to represent the class of 2020 as valedictorian. Thank you to all of my teachers for putting in the work and supporting me along the way. To my parents, Ralph and Charlene Johnson, I would not be where I am today without your unconditional love and support. Thank you. Thank you to all of our parents who supported us throughout this journey. We know that you too at times would have been frustrated, but we made it. Thank you to all my friends for making this secondary school experience 1,000 times better. Attending school at St. George's College was one of the best experiences I had in my entire life. It was like a home away from home, a second family. I am so grateful that I had the opportunity to attend this institution. The good times and the bad times we had together only drew us closer as a year group. For example, Sports Day. I think we can all agree that Leacock is the best house, Mr. Bahadur Singh, our fearless leader. Chanter of competitions, road races, Diwali, Eid and Christmas celebrations, inter-class competitions, field trips, class parties, the time I lost my umbrella and the whole school was looking for it. I still never found it, and so many more innumerable occasions. These memories will forever be etched on my heart. With the valuable lessons we learned and people we met along the way, all helped to shape our lives. One of the most important lessons I learned at St. George's College was about community. Supporting our friends and family is so important, and we should cherish them as much as we can while we still have the chance. Today, I want to turn the attention to our bright and amazing futures. The possibilities are endless, and though challenges are inevitable, we will overcome. We will rise. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Brian Tracy once said, all successful people, men and women, are big dreamers. They imagine what their future could be, ideal in every aspect, and then they work every day toward their distant vision, that goal or purpose. Josh Hines once said, dare to dream, but even more importantly, dare to put action behind your dreams. What if I told you that you could do anything you want to do, be anything you want to be, achieve whatever you want to achieve? Today, I want you to make a wish list, like a kid before Christmas. What are the goals you want to achieve in life? Write them all down. Nothing is too big or too small to write. Next, find out what is required to achieve those goals and break them down into smaller steps. All that's left to do then is put in the work. Like Colin Powell said, a dream does not become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. Do not be deterred when challenges come your way. Know that they are a part of God's plan in preparing you for what He has in store for your life. I am so excited about our generation. We have a mindset that does not just accept things because that's the way it always was. We dare to break rules and stereotypes. So I hope that from our graduating class, we don't just have doctors, lawyers, and teachers, but athletes, musicians, business owners, cosmetologists, mechanics, bakers, chefs, filmmakers, astronauts, IT specialists, and so much more. To all of those who are afraid to pursue a career they truly love, remember, if you can risk failure going after a career you don't want, it costs you nothing to pursue one you are passionate about. Never let someone tell you you can't do something. And if they do, do it twice. And take pictures. The last thing I would like to mention is live life to the fullest. People on their deathbed don't often regret what they did, but what they didn't do. Dare to live a life filled to the brim with fun and memorable experiences, enjoying the company of those who you love the most while you still can. So travel the world, when it's safe of course. Go skydiving. Eat your belly full. To conclude, I will recite a quote from Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. Work hard, have fun, make history. Thank you.
Our Form 6 valedictorian is none other than Micaiah Diet. He was a past head boy, and at this time, let us give our full attention to Micaiah.
A very good day to everyone. All protocols have been met. I would like to firstly thank the teachers who voted me as Form 6 valedictorian. It is indeed an honor to be chosen. I would also like to thank my parents and family, and most importantly, God. We have all come to the end of our time here at St. George's College. Some of us have spent 2 years, some 5, and some even 7 years. We have all grown, learned, and developed into the persons we are today at St. George's College, our home away from home. St. George's has been to us a major stepping stone and a key factor in laying the foundation of our futures. We have all had our unique and individual experiences during our tenure at this humble but proud institute. We have had good times and rough times, especially when there was a lab due the next day and you had the entire discussion to do still, my science students. Countless sleepless nights trying to finish that thesis due by the end of the week for Ms. Hackshaw, or maybe even that financial statement that was supposed to be finished from since the day before. But one thing that I can proudly say with a fulfilling joy in my heart is that we have all been able to share the Georgian spirit. I remember when I first came to St. George's, a short, shy, and skinny little boy at the age of 12. The idea of maneuvering the complexities of high school seemed daunting. The school, as small as we complain it really is, seemed too big and crazy. That feeling lasted for a week, if so much. The togetherness and the family-like nature of my school seemed to dissipate those feelings before I knew it. It's a phenomenon not easily explained. Well, I have just turned 20, and I can boast knowing that no other institute shared the kind of togetherness that we did. And for this, we should all feel proud to say we are Georgians. With this chapter of our lives closed, I know for most of us, another has already opened, whether it be the beginning of Form 6 or Form 5s here at St. George's or elsewhere, or the beginning of university for some, or some of us may have even begun working. I would, however, just like to leave us with one simple yet valuable idea, and it's our theme for today, yet still I rise. Consider this: if you think and believe you can, it will be done. I remember when Chronix had announced he would be coming to Trinidad, and one lucky school would be graced with his presence through entering a musical competition. Our notorious musical department no doubt submitted a new musical piece, despite facing fierce competition from other top musically gifted schools around the nation. As the competition ended, our beloved school had just around 5,000 likes, while the leading schools had 8,000 and 9,000 likes. Sad to say, we were not the winners, or so we thought. It was discovered that under the pressure and desire to win, multiple top schools cheated the system and were buying likes, which allowed them to have such high numbers. St. George's, however, was not among the schools caught in the scandal. Living up to our school's motto, ex fructibus cognoscetis eos, we emerged victorious, the school with the most honestly obtained likes. In spite of the odds, yet still we rose. If you think and believe you can, it will be done, but it must be done honestly. The insurmountable feeling of joy and pride for honestly winning and having Chronix in our humble hall is not an easily forgotten experience. The veneration we all listened with as the Jamaican superstar spoke left the hall in complete silence. We could literally hear the fans spinning, a task sometimes difficult even for Mr. Sammy. Speaking of Mr. Sami, I'm sure we have all had our fond memories of him, from his musical specials on the saxophone to barely keeping ahead of him in road race. My most distinct memory, though, was one Friday morning. I was in Form 3. My friends and I were not in the mood to attend RI, so we decided we would skip and hang out at a regular spot. Long and short, we were caught and sent straight to Mr. Sami's office. I know now that Mr. Sami had a famous corrective tactic. He announced to each of us that we would be getting transferred, each to a different school. One to San Juan North, San Juan South, Aranguez, and one Barataria South, where we would be free not to attend RI. I would say that it did the trick, because I don't recall ever being sent to Mr. Sami's office again. Just as we wanted so badly to win the Chronics visit as a school, I am sure we each want to achieve the goals we have set for ourselves in life. Once we believe we can achieve it, despite the odds, despite the figurative top schools that we face challenges from, if we believe, it can be done. It will be done. Another lesson we can draw from this story is that despite what may be happening around us, we must maintain our integrity. Despite your future colleague buying likes to receive that promotion, or for those moving to higher levels of schooling, despite your classmates buying likes to pass that final exam, we must always remember to keep our integrity, and in the long run, we would be duly rewarded for doing so. We never know where we could end up. I remember entering George's, looking up at the head boy and prefects, never once thinking that I would someday become a prefect, far more the head boy myself, that some little Form 1 can aspire to one day become. Well, that is the main message I would like to leave with us. Say it, believe it, yet still I rise. You can rise against all the odds and still prevail, still succeed, still achieve what it is you set out to do in this life with integrity. Given the forum, it would be remiss of me not to thank the teachers who have worked relentlessly with their students to attain the success that we have today. So wherever you are, put your hands together for all the teachers of St. George's College. I personally would like to thank the teachers that would have directly impacted my life. Ms. Khan, for her vested interest and support, both as my biology and form teacher. Ms. Lawrence, my ride or die. Ms. Harris, my Form 5 chemistry teacher. Mr. Pear, my Form 5 math teacher. Ms. Pope, and the man himself, Mr. Moore, my PE teachers. Ms. Macmillan and the flamboyant Mr. Martin. The now retired Miss Sylvester, for making those English B classes such a joy. Miss Mohammed, for her patience with me while I was doing math. Mr. Bain, Miss Ram Singh, my communication studies teacher, who actually gave me pointers for this address. The tag team of Miss Hackshaw and Miss Phillips. Mr. Ramda, Miss Rivas, our prefecting mentor. I cannot forget Mr. Bahari Singh, the leader of the greatest house, Leacock, as my fellow Form 5 valedictorian, Jewel Johnson, can attest to. Although he only taught me for a short while, a good relationship was developed. I thank our administrative staff and our school heads and deans, Miss Sao, Miss Patel Batiste, Miss Manraj, Miss Mustafa, and our current principal, Dr. Ramraj Sukhdev, for their sound leadership. Lastly, I would like to thank my fellow friends and schoolmates for making my time here a very memorable and wholesome one. My fellow Georgians, as we reflect on our time spent here at St. George's College, from the wondrous spectacle of Sports Day with the chant-off, road race, aerobics burnouts, and Sports Day itself, from those quadrangle sweats, those long road trips to compete at Sandfest, football competitions, cricket, and even volleyball, to those debate club meetings or animal lovers club meetings, chess competitions, and the emergence of acute table tennis syndrome. And we cannot forget those who found joy in dance or just simply reading a book in the library at lunchtime. We have all had our ups and downs at school, our good times and not so good times, which serve to make us stronger. We have all made it to the end. We have the Georgian culture embedded deep within us. So now, as we go our separate ways, we can go knowing that despite the obstacles, despite the trials, despite the foe, once we believe it can be done, it will be done, maintaining our integrity and giving our best. We can conquer any trial in this life and reach the goals we have set for ourselves. Yet still, we rise.
Our very own in-house calypsonian, Mr. Aaron Duncan, will now bring to us a special performance. He hails from the graduating class. Let's pay attention to Aaron Duncan.
that a hero lies in you. The Lord knows dreams are hard to follow, but don't let anyone tear them away. Just hold on, there will be tomorrow. when a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you finally see the truth that a hero lies in you. That a hero lies in you. Hero lies in you.
Students, please keep your eyes glued on your screen because at this time we are going to have the presentation of our graduates.
I present to you the graduating class of 5F. Adil Ali, Aaron Duncan, Adam Mana, Aidan Eugene, Al Salim Ali, Amit Harinarayan, Asante Fortuné, Brianna Stout, Cheyenne Ali, Destiny Antoine, Faith Martin, Haley Smith, Hassan Hussein, Jada Moss, Jonathan Hooker, Jordan Marcus, Joshua Kamabach, Jerick Williams, Candice Goddard, Kayla Marie Mango, Kristen Gobin, Kyle Mohammed, Liam Young, Mina Budu, Muaz Isat, Noah Bassant, Rayshon Mitchell, Sajid Ragunanan, Shadan Mahabir, Zion Waith, and in loving memory of Javed Mohammed Khan. Congratulations.
Abdullah Ali, Alina Budram, Alina Rez, Amir Khan, Amira Mohammed Khan, Acha Ali, Arya Kayam, Avita Gobin, Brian Ramsumer, Kyle Ferdinand, Christoph Roberts, Clevon Raphael, Daniel Ramrup, Dawn Pierre, Francine Watts, Hassani Seabret, Isaiah Daniel, Jonathan Razak, Josiah Cain Francis, Josiah Charles, Javonica Howard, Kenisha Plata, Khadija Singh, Kyle Lalsi, Lillian Charles, Mario Jerome Inal, Matthew Arjun, Michael Charles, Nikki Grant, Sabira Mohammed, Sarah Riley, Selena Frederick, Savannah Burkett.
Amir Datu, Aidan Filafana, Andrew Ragunanan, Anjali Haripur, Ashtad Mohammed, Aisha Khan, Aziza Rivers, Bradley Budu, Brandon Ramcharita, Dylan Ibrahim, Elijah Hamid, Isaiah Burton, Jabari Ramsey, Jada Espinoza Jones, Jarrell Seals, Jewel Johnson, Jordan Ramai, Jordan Kuto, Josh Bridgeraj, Josiah Hadaway, Carissa Mohammed, Kushel Ferguson, Kezia Allen, Kyle Ali, Levi Ali, Levi Segal, Nakia Cole, Nathan Phillips, Rebecca Singh, Renee Burasing, Shania Maraj, Sydney Wilson, Tanaya Jofield, Zakia McDonald.
Presenting 6A1, graduating class of 2020. Akif Isaac, Abby Charles, Adrian Bagwandine, Erin Ali, Alexia Hadia, Andy Nandanlal, Akil Bansi, Aurora Gian, Chelsea Perez, Clayton Knott, Colleen Kojo, Dana Springer, Daniela Downer, Genesee Noel, Joshua Prasad, Caitlin Reed, Camelia Gaspard, Mark Abraham, Nival Maharaj, Precious Blackman, Pretty Dukan, Rachel Tima, Rajiv Ramkisoon, Renisha Collins, Shakira Ali, Shania Singh, Shanice Valentine, Sharaya Ramsundar, Shiraz Ali, Cheyenne Kreft, Suwan Edwards, Sumaya Razak.
graduates of 682, graduates of 682, Aliyah Ali, Ibrahim Shagir, Adrian Chance, Amar Ali, Amara Mohammed, Antonio McCarthy, Anuradha Ramlakan, Avinash Ratan, Ayuka Barak, Brandon Owen, Crystal Clark, Devesh Maharaj, Fendi Phillips, Juve Durant, Imran Hussain, Jairam Jogi, Jonathan Ramkisoon, Joshua Gurchan, Joshua Lakan Singh, Karisha Nanlal, Makaya Dayat, Mishon Amos, Nabiha Ali, Nicholas Mohammed, Nicholas Williams, Nishan Mohammed, Shivani Ramlogan, Sayan Burke, Shailan Burfil, Steffi Ali, Wesley Gurachan.
And as we come to a close, Miss Jewel Johnson from our graduating class will bring to us that very meaningful song, Yet Still I Rise.
Shattered, but I'm not broken. Wounded, but time will heal. Heavy the load, the cross I bear. Lonely the road I trod, I dare shaken, but here I stand, weary, still I press on. Long are the nights, the tears I cry, dark are the days, no sun in the sky. Yet still I rise, never to give up, never to give in against all odds. Yet still I rise high above the clouds. At times I feel low, yet still I rise. Sometimes I'm troubled, but not in despair. Struggling, I make my way through. Trials, they come to make me strong. I must endure, I must hold on. Yet still I rise. never to give in against all odds, yet still I rise high above the clouds. At times I feel low, yet still I rise.
Thank you, students, for staying with us throughout this program. At this time, I would like to give special thanks to all who made today's graduation a success. Definitely, I'd like to thank our featured speaker, Mr. Sami. We would like to thank all of the participants of our program, all our valedictorians, all of the representatives that came and gave greetings, our SS3, the president of the PTA and alumni, for members of staff who contributed their time and energy towards this program, Mr. Kendall Pierre, Mrs. Larisha Nunschals, the Deans of Form 5 and 6, Mrs. Patel Batiste, Mr. Mario Martin, Ms. Sao, Mrs. Ram Singh, Mrs. Bernadette Powell, our graduation committee, and our principal and staff of St. George's College. We also would like to thank the students who offered the national anthem and prayer, and for all others that participated by special song and just sharing your time with us today. I would like to thank you so much for making time to be a part of our graduation program for our graduating class 2020. At this time, our principal will lead us in the charge to the graduates.